name is Muhammad Ali, and you are American right there in the center of that ring. I am bigger than boxing. I am bigger than all the champions put together. And now they want to put me in jail. I predict that tonight somebody will die and rain out and shot. You're my enemy. My enemy is the white people. I am the greatest.
Scientists knew that what was in the black box could in some way be called the secret of life. The beauty and wonder of life itself. The incredible diversity that had puzzled and intrigued Darwin and Morgan. Could this be reduced to chemistry? Understanding the chemical basis of life had become the ultimate challenge for many scientists.
The fascination was, can you put together the ordinary atoms that chemists know?
Every reporter who covered Ruth had the illusion that he was a great friend of Ruth, personally. And so the minute he started to write about Ruth, he was always writing about what he considered his friend.
And you can't forget that face.
He had the face of a happy catcher's mitt.
He had a face that looked like a horse had stepped on it. That helped.
He was as easy to recognize as the king of Siam's white elephant.
The face seemed to fit Babe Ruth. I can't imagine a handsome Babe Ruth. Who has ever looked like him since Babe Ruth? Try to think of somebody who has looked like him. It's like he was created for this role that he was given, and he played it to the hills.
The name helped. Babe Ruth. I mean, gee, if his name was Harold Thompson, he would have had the same impact, but Babe Ruth. Many Italian immigrants in New York, instead of saying, how'd the Babe do this, how'd the Bambino do yesterday? And so Bambino became his name, and the Bam sound fitted in there. Bam hits one. Everything fit. You didn't forget him. He was indelible. And everybody who saw him had a story about him, remembered something about him. Every place he went, he sort of left a trail.
It was as if an axe had fallen. You know, I was a different person. From that moment on, I've been a different person.
There are stories of mothers who were able to lift a whole car to free their trapped infant from under it. And I think that's the same sort of strength almost, really, that she mustered or must have been able to pull together to really keep the whole family from just falling apart.
It was just a nightmare, a long nightmare, endless. It made my whole family a lot stronger, though. Definitely my mother. My mother is somebody I admire so much for that, for everything she went through and how she pulled out of it.
The judge said, Mr. Allen has demonstrated no parenting skills that would qualify him as an adequate custodian for Moses, Dylan, or Satchel. Since the trial, he has had little contact with any of them.
Well, she won. She won in the courts. With all his money, with all his power, she's a fighter, and she won.
I knew I could never live up to Peggy Fleming. I just knew it. She was just a lady. I was a kid. I was a little punk kid. While I appreciated her, I just thought, well, I got to go completely the other direction.
She was right out front with her skating. It was clean, it was honest, it was open. It was like all American as apple pie.
Thank you very much.
It was flawless. Was there any imperfections that you thought of? What was it?
I have a combination that I didn't do. There were 2 double axels instead of the one, and I only did one.
Well, you're free to do that. That's why it's called free skating,
Right.
and everything else was really absolutely perfection.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dorothy.
Thank you.
She was a beautiful, beautiful spinner. And of course, she was the girl that every boy in America was in love with her.
Dorothy was 17 when she won her first national championship, and before long, she became America's girl next door. She squinted when she tried to read her scores, and girls all over America were asking for the Hamel wedge.
The one comment I get more than anything today was, I had that haircut, or my mother made me have that haircut, or my wife used to have that haircut. I would get letters from hairdressers saying, please change your haircut, please. I'm just tired of cutting it.
But a young idealist, Robert Moses, would challenge the conventions of the day and offer a new concept of public recreation. He proposed a string of parks across nearby Long Island. Accessible by modern parkways, the cornerstone of the proposal was Jones Beach. Jones Beach would be a public park built for kings, but available to the everyman. Centered around the beauty and majesty of the ocean, it would free the public from the confines of the land and link them to a utopia by the sea.
To me, Jones Beach was a giant canvas. The beach was the canvas, the sand was the paint, and the ocean was the color. The beach always, for me, was a place to go and not have to be anything and not have the limitation of only being able to be one thing. I could be or do anything I wanted when I was at the beach.
There certainly was a clash of cultures there.
Adolph Rupp, the coach of Kentucky, who had said publicly he would never have a black player on his team, represented the Southern tradition, the all-white tradition.
Adolph Rupp. Shortly after World War II, Adolph Rupp was coming into town. And coming into a town filled with Jews and about to play a basketball team filled with Jews. And Nat Holman, a Jew, aware of all of this and being very smart and playing psychology, said to the team before that game, you know, I think it would be a very good thing if you guys just try to shake their hands before, just kind of sportsmanlike. I watched as Floyd Lane put his hand out, and this tall, blonde, gorgeous giant turned away from Floyd, which is exactly what Holman wanted, to get Floyd very upset, to get all of the other players upset. And Floyd hissed out at the guy, "You're gonna be picking cotton in the morning, man."
The City College team went out there with two missions. Number one, win the game. Number two, stuff it to Adolph Rupp.
It was no contest. Slow-footed and bewildered, Kentucky couldn't handle City's quickness. The final score was 89-50, the worst defeat ever handed to a Rupp-led Kentucky team, and the greatest triumph in the history of City College.
It was not a basketball game. It was a cultural war. It was a religious war. It was City College's way of saying, forgive me, but screw you, Adolph Rupp. We are also part of this country. It's not just yours, it's ours too.
It was Gloria, really, who showed me that I was a feminist. I just thought what I was a strong-minded girl who was doing what she wanted to do and was saying what she wanted to say. I didn't know that there was a pool of us that could get together and become a coalition.
Gloria had become friends with Dorothy Pittman Hughes, a child care advocate. Racism and sexism had to be addressed, so she asked Dorothy to go on tour with her.
Here she was importing somebody out of the wings and putting that person center stage, not like a sidekick, equal time.
She also was pregnant with her second daughter. So after a while, there were three of us. And I would hold the baby while she spoke, and she would nurse the baby while I spoke. And I'm sure that there were people in the audience who thought that we had that baby together.
I mean, she really knew, I think, that being who she was and being able to wear the miniskirts and being able to wear the glasses the way she did and her hair the way she did, all of that was contributing to the attention.
That having had patriarchy and racism for the past many thousands of years, we are on the birth of a new period of humanism. And together, we just might make it.
Once she got that attention, she just really used it. And everybody ought to be very happy about what she did with her miniskirt. Because with her miniskirt, she educated America.
Gloria had brought the women's movement to the grassroots, and the response was overwhelming.